Hello, everybody, and welcome to lesson 3 of unit 2 of the C1 course. We're going to be looking at our time, our free time in this lesson. We're going to discuss the question, what do you do when you are at a loose end? At a loose end is an idiom we saw in the last class. It means when you have no plan, when you are available, when you are free. So what do you do when you have nothing to do? What do you do when you are at a loose end? So do you relax? Do you do sport? Do you read? Do you watch TV? Do you go out? What do you like doing when you have no plan, when you have free time? What we're going to do is talk about how we take advantage of our free time. What are we going to learn about today? We're going to learn synonyms for simple phrases, especially related to learning languages, because we are going to talk about learning languages as a free time activity. We will learn how to agree and disagree in different ways. We will also look at using inversions for emphasis. Inversions are a type of fronting to emphasize an opinion. And we're also going to learn through fixed phrases and examples. So to begin with, let's look at the idioms of the day. The first idiom is in a flash. In a flash just means very quickly. I'm going to do it in a flash. En un periquete, lo que dices en español, en un periquete, en un pispás, muy rápido. So, in a flash. Next. In the nick of time. In the nick of time means just in time, justo a tiempo. My package arrived in the nick of time. The next one is just in time. As I said before, in the nick of time are synonyms. Just in time, in the nick of time. We can use them as fixed phrases. Now, we're going to learn English with agreeing and disagreeing. What are the pros of this method? When we agree or disagree, we reach a conclusion and allow the conversation to move on to the next topic. So it is a fantastic way to find an outcome, come to a conclusion, to reach the end of a conversation. These phrases can be known as language islands because they are fixed phrases. You can just learn them, memorize them, and use them. And they mean, I agree. Avoid using I agree, do you agree, I disagree, because it is quite formal and it is not C1 level. So to begin, we're going to look at some questions. So let me ask you some questions. I would like you to listen to the question, put the video in pause, and give an answer for 30 seconds with your opinion. So, number 1, learning English is useful. Do you feel me? 2, sport is important, isn't it? Very good. 3, travel is a great way to spend time. How do you see it? Very good. Friends are vital, don't you think? Excellent. Education is crucial. What's your view? Very good. Traveling abroad opens your mind. Do you get my gist? Very good. Spain is a great place to live. Do you know what I mean? Fantastic. So notice, with these questions, you have a statement and a question. All of these are ways of asking, do you agree? Do you feel me? Isn't it? How do you see it? Don't you think? What's your view? Do you get my gist? Do you know what I mean? They all mean, do you agree with me? You need to use them. Now, when we talk about hobbies and leisure time, what is included in the topic? You need to think of many different ways to say, I agree with you. Remember, I am agree does not exist. Sé que es un nivel algo más básico, pero aún así hay gente a nivel avanzado que dicen I am agree. No existe. Nunca ha existido y nunca existirá. No tiene sentido. No digas I am agree. De forma formal, I agree with you. Pero hay otras formas, ¿vale? So we can say, I agree with you. I see your point. I disagree with you. I can't see where you're coming from. I agree. That's right. So make sure that what you say is not boring and repetitive, because I agree with you, I disagree with you is a little boring and repetitive, don't you think? Try to use synonyms. For example, to say I agree, you can say, of course, exactly, that's right, I understand your view, I think the same, I see your point, I get your gist, for sure, obviously, I see what you're saying, I couldn't agree more, I get what you mean, I see where you are coming from, we see eye to eye. You took the words out of my mouth. You have hit the nail on the head. There are more, for example, we are on the same wavelength. We are on the same page. Use the cheat sheet for speaking to help you with this. It will help you for the exam. Learn some different ways and avoid using I agree, I agree, I agree. Next, to disagree, we have other ways of saying it. For example, really? Are you sure? Is that right? That can't be right. That can't be true. No way. We actually often say, no way, Jose, which is a bit like Spanish, but we say, no way, Jose. It's an Americanism. I don't know why we use it, but no way, Kira, no way. Are you joking? You can't be serious. Are you pulling my leg? ¿Me estás tomando el pelo? Are you pulling my leg? Are you kidding around? Have you lost your mind? They all mean I disagree with you. Now, I'm going to give you some different statements. I want you to say if you agree or disagree with it. The ideal would be to talk with this to your partner in the conversation group. So go to Facebook or WhatsApp and put a comment, and then we can find you a partner. You can speak on Zoom or we can speak in any other way, but the key is to practice. So I will give you the statement, put the video in pause and say if you agree and say why. You want to speak for about 1 minute after each statement. So you put the video in pause and give your answer. So first one, English is the most important language in the world. Very good. Some languages are useless. Very good. Only children can learn languages well. Very good. Spanish people are bad at languages. Very good. English is the easiest language to learn. Very good. Learning languages is fun. Very good. Spain is the most popular country to visit. Very good. Minority languages will all die out. Very good. So what we have are different statements. You have to say if you agree, if you disagree, why and why not. Okay? Practice with your partner and you can review and do it. A good way to practice this is to record your own voice. Te grabas la voz con el móvil, hasta incluso me lo puedes enviar por WhatsApp y lo puedes escuchar y os puedo dar un comentario. So, fantastic. Now, emphasizing using inversions. We call this fronting. Si quieres enfatizar una opinión, podemos utilizar esta estructura, ¿vale? The inversion. Inversions are very useful. We have phrases like not only, but also. No solamente, sino también. Yeah? No sooner than, meaning nada más, que, No longer, ya no. At no time, en ningún momento. At no point, ¿ya? En ningún momento, lo mismo. Under no circumstances, bajo ninguna circunstancia. On no account, ¿ya? Means under no circumstances it's a synonym. Hardly, apenas. Never, nunca, or never before, nunca jamás. Rarely, raramente. You could also say seldom. Seldom is another way. You basically use the negative adverb, auxiliary subject. So not only is English a useful language, but it is also fun to learn. No sooner had I learned English than I started learning German. So we can use these to emphasize a point of view. No longer should you translate from English into Spanish. We need to use these to emphasize points of view. Now, what we are going to do is have a conversation. I would like you to have a conversation with a partner, and what you need to do is make reference to the question, suggest an option, give your opinion, ask questions, and in the end, we are going to give a conclusion for 1 minute. So, in this part of the test, I would like you to speak with a partner for about 2 minutes. I would like you to talk about educational goals. I would like you, please, to have a conversation and to try to come to a conclusion. So first, you have some time to look at the task. What do we need to have a good chance of achieving our educational goals? So good contacts, meaning to know people, a supportive family, a family that can help us, a decent education, a good schooling maybe, skills, abilities, and perseverance. I love this word, perseverance and consistency. You need to talk about all of the options, what you need to achieve your educational goals, to be successful in education. All right? So, I would like you please to talk about your educational goals. Put the video in pause. Okay, very good. Now, you have about 1 minute to decide which is the most important factor. All right, very good. Okay, so interaction, you should practice with a partner in order to be able to interact and have a conversation. Now, I would like us, please, to take a look at some key phrases to talk about learning languages. In Unit 3, we are going to talk about education, and these phrases will be very useful. We should learn them as language islands. You need to form your own phrases, and you need to say them out loud. So the first one is to get one's point or ideas across, to communicate something to somebody. It can be quite difficult to get your point across when speaking a foreign language. Brush up on is to improve at something when you need practice. For example, I had better brush up on my German before the business trip to Neuenrade, which is a place in Germany. Be rusty, be out of practice. The problem is that I am really rusty and it is taking quite a long time to improve my fluency. 4. Have a good or a bad grasp of is to have an understanding of, to know how to do something, to be good at something. It's like saying controlar algo. So I have quite a good grasp of German, but I ought to practice every day. Take in is to internalize, to assimilate something. Do you find it difficult to take in new vocabulary? Why don't you try to put them into practical examples? Take in, to understand. Struggle plus infinitive is to find something difficult, infinitive. I struggle to understand you when you speak French as you speak really quickly. Next, pay attention to is to focus on something. In your shoes, I would pay attention to my pronunciation in order to perfect it. Next, be worth plus the gerund. Is to be a good use of one's time. It means valer la pena. Be worth, ing. Es avanzado o be worth es un adjetivo. Normalmente después de un adjetivo ponemos infinitivo. Pero en este caso ponemos ing. So, is it worth learning Italian in this day and age? To deal with or to cope with is lidiar con algo. To handle, to have everything under control. It can be a tough task to deal with exam pressure, to deal with, to cope with, to handle. They're all the same. Get used to plus gerund is acostumbrarse a algo. Get, adjetivo, used, acostumbrado, to es una preposición, así que ing después. It means to develop as a habit. I am getting used to the use of separable phrasal verbs. I am getting used to learning phrasal verbs, for example. Next, to monitor one's own performance, to keep track of. This is like un seguimiento de tu rendimiento, ¿vale? So, if I were you, I would monitor your students' progress a little more and ensure that they are advancing. Good. Next, encourage somebody plus infinitive. To motivate somebody plus infinitive. I encourage everyone I meet to learn a foreign language as it opens your mind. I encourage somebody to do something. Animar a alguien a hacer algo. A very useful phrase. Next, dedicate time plus the gerund. To get one's teeth into something. If I could, I would dedicate all of my time to learning a foreign language. So dedicate time to doing something is to spend time doing something. Next, pick up is to learn little by little. Es más bien aprender sobre la marcha, aprender poco a poco, aprender casi sin esfuerzo. So when I was in Tokyo last year, I picked up quite a lot of Japanese. And finally, be fluent in. Hablar con fluidez. Hacer algo, pero con fluidez. So to be able to speak a language well. How many languages are you fluent in? We normally say, I am fluent in English. More than I can speak English. If you say, I can speak a little English, you will say, I can get by in English. Get by is more advanced than speak a little. The same with, I can speak English. I am fluent in English. Be fluent in is a more advanced phrase. Learn these phrases and use them because it's a high frequency topic. So, what have we learned? How can inversions help us to learn English easily? Inversions are a fantastic way to emphasize your opinion. Learn the adverbs like not only, but also, no sooner, than, never before, hardly, and practice using. Use the grammar guide to practice. We've looked at how many ways can you say, I agree with? There are many ways, like, for sure, that's right, of course, I get your gist, I know what you mean, I see your point. Learn different ways to say, I agree with you. Use the cheat sheet for speaking to help you. And how many language phrases can you remember? We saw phrases like be fluent in a language, get by in a language, dedicate time to learning a language, get used to speaking a language. Review these phrases and you need to use them in your speech. Next, how can we use language islands for fluency? Language islands, fixed phrases, can help us to make sure we use advanced vocabulary in the speaking. They can also help us if we go blank. Como dije en la última clase, si te quedas en blanco, puedes utilizar frases hechas para salir de algún apuro. So, finally, question time. How can I help you? If you have any questions, send them to my WhatsApp or send them to my email address. I am here to support you. I am here to help. We will also resolve any doubts in the live classes, and you can simply write your doubts and you can ask me in the classes. So thank you very much. I will see you in the next class.